Hey everybody, Superfluous J here, playing more Kerbal Space Program, and I've made a decision here. The next windows coming up are Jewel, Elu, Drez, Duna, and Eve, in that order. All of these are outside of Kerbin's orbit, except for Eve, which is the last one to happen. Duna and Eve are the two closest ones, and they happen after the Moho ship's thing. That's important to note because if you check out Antenna Helper here, and you look at our signal strength to distance button, you'll notice that if we take the biggest relay, which is also the biggest antenna, currently the only planet we get a full thing on is Moho. We don't even get Eve with this. And the reason this is because if we pick a target, we are at DSN level 2. If we go to DSN level 3, this antenna gets us all the way to Duna, so we could do the Duna thing if we had DSN level 3. There's a problem with that. DSN level 3, I've never exited the VAB with all this up. I don't know if that's going to stay or what. I guess we'll find out in a second. It doesn't stay. Okay. The problem with that is DSN level 3 is going to cost us over $1 million, and we've been saving up for the $4 million that R&D has. So I don't want to pay for this. So we're going to skip Jewel, Elu, and Drez, and we're going to go right to the manned Moho ship and do its thing right now. So while time warping here, I completed my Sentinel contracts, both of them. We found a comet and an asteroid, or the asteroids, according to the contract complete messages, which are a little amusing, because they asked for 2 comets and a specific number of asteroids, not all of them. But this is literally the first time I've ever actually completed these contracts. So what I don't know is where these things are. Obviously, I guess is Kerbin over here? No, Kerbin's over here, but we see all these things over here. I don't know which ones of these are comets and which ones are asteroids. The ones down here seem likely to be comets because they're way out of view, but I don't know. There's also a question mark over here still, which is weird because I'm pretty sure that's part of my ship. But anyway, let's see what we got here. Offered orbits. Yeah, I don't know anything about this. Space objects we have 0 of. None of these are quote-unquote comets. So let's go ahead and track some of these things and see what happens here. Let's start with this one because it's the only one that's above the orbit. I click it. Can't track it. Can't track it. Can't track it. Can't track it. I don't know why I can't track these. So there goes that. Don't know what's wrong. Oh wait, what are these? Doesn't matter. Can't track them either. I don't know if there's if my mod that allows me to do things is causing a problem or what, but hey, I don't know. Okay, there goes that. That was fun, I guess. Let's keep time warping. We still have 158 days. Let's go back into the tracking station and just time warp a little bit with these things in the thing. The Man Moho ship timer will. There's a new one. Can't track that one either. So I think possibly this maneuver node thing is causing me issues. I might, next time I exit the game, uninstall it and then reinstall it. I'm not really using it. It's convenient, but I mean, I don't spend that much time in the tracking station. But anyway, so I will meet you, as usual, like I said, when we are at the Moho ship doing its burn. Okay, we've got a 22-second burn here coming up. We are aimed at it. We are prepped and ready. And we're hitting the gas. I'm going to watch this in map mode because it does matter how things go here. Let's focus view on Kerbin. Really all that matters is when we get our orbit right here. So, ready to hit X. Here comes our orbit. Surprisingly not as close as I thought it would be. But it is getting closer, so I'm going to keep burning. And yeah, that's about as close as we can get. We have 72 meters per second left. Let's go ahead and clear this. And then maybe... Oh, we have two? Why do we have two of those? What the H is going on? We had two maneuver nodes for some reason, which might have been one of the problems. Not a big deal. I think this is like next orbit too. It's one of those weird things where, because we're like up here, we're going to do a loop around. We're going to add a maneuver here. Let's zoom back into Kerbin. And if we do a tiny little... Okay, not that tiny little. Like that. And then let's say retrograde. No. Prograde. Radial. Radial a little bit. Prograde a little bit. And then down a little bit. We can come in over the North Pole. I don't really care which way we come in. That should be perfect. 50 kilometers is probably a little low. Let's bring it up. 237 should be fine. Okay, let's aim at that, and that's in 174 days. Well, we would come back when the Moho ship had its next maneuver node, except for the fact that we have a transfer window to Eve, and we have no less, I say, actually it's easier to see them in the all, than 4 satellites going to Eve. We got 2 to Gilly, and we got 2 to Eve. I have built the ship. It is dawn. We are going to launch it. It's actually 4 days before the Eve window. I set it up 24 hours before. I called it Eve Satellites 4 because there are, as I have mentioned, 4 of them. And I'm moderately sure that this vessel will reach orbit and will also be able to complete the rest of its mission. I test launched it once and it was perfectly fine. So what I'm going to do here is a pretty rare ship that I've got. I almost never use multiple SRBs in a launching stage. I also almost never use the regular struts, but I had to because these are not the heaviest thing on the ship. And I almost never ever use these quad couplers or any kind of multi-coupler. But I'm using all those this time because we are launching an odd-shaped ship. This was cheaper than anything else I could do. And we are going to turn on T. We're going to bring this up. We are going to hit space now. As soon as this gets up to 1 kilometer, there we go. I'm going to lock it to prograde. I'm actually going to pull it down as we go. The kickbacks have gimbling, and I don't know if they always had gimbling or if I have just never noticed it before or what. But they definitely have gimbling now, and I'm kind of enjoying it. So even throttled down, by the way, these things are throttled down, I think 60%. They are still ridiculously overpowered for what we need. So I'm cranking this thing down. We're at 12 kilometers now. I'm definitely going to start really cranking it down. Luckily, their gimbling plus probably the fuel in this tank here is keeping this thing fairly stable aerodynamically. But basically, I would like to get my apoapsis out of the atmosphere, but not too much. So we're going to be burning off of prograde here for a little while. As we see, we're already at 70. I'm going to turn off lock to prograde and just let this thing sit here. It's far over. Yeah, we've lost our we've lost our control when we lost our thrust. So let's go ahead and time warp up into the upper atmosphere here. Once we get to 60, I think I'll toss the the SRBs. And I don't want to actually thrust any. This is a poodle, by the way. It doesn't look like a poodle because I'm using the alternate skin. I kind of like the alternate skin, where it's a single big engine instead of two smaller engines. We're in space now, though, so let's go ahead and ditch the fairings and look at our 4 satellites. They are very different from each other. We got 2 relays, one for Gilly and one for Eve. We have 2 regular satellites that don't actually have relays on them. There's no reason to go to Eve in this save. All I'm doing is the anomalies. I should probably mention that. As soon as I'm done with the anomalies, this save's probably done. I was considering doing more, but I think I'm gonna ditch the save as soon as we've seen all the anomalies. I'll still do other things. I'll visit all the planets probably, but I'm not going to like set up bases there and things like that. So as far as this is concerned, this is probably our only mission to Eve, unless I send a lander or something to Eve itself, which I don't see any reason why I would do that. Let's go ahead and get these guys into orbit. Let's also bring out 1 solar panel. Extend this 1 solar panel just so we keep our batteries recharged. This is a 45-second burn in about 45 seconds. And go. But yeah, so the satellites are packed in pretty tight. I do enjoy the fairings for that ability. I just realized I never balanced these things, but I think they'll be fine because we have reaction wheels on them. This satellite and this satellite should be balanced because I made sure that the dishes were balanced over the center of mass. But these ones I did not, and the magnetometer has mass to it. And there's nothing on the other side except for the mystery goo, which also has mass to it. But I didn't verify that they're balanced, so they're probably not balanced. But it's just what you deal with. Let's see, we're at 100 by. Just get it up to at least 100 by 90. That's fine. Okay, now let's use the Astrogator to set up our Eve window in 4 days. Boom. 1,018 meter per second burn. Our man Moho ship burn is not for 75 days, so let's go ahead and time warp to this guy. Kind of a crazy looking flip turn upside down there. And let's get aimed at this thing. It's only a minute-long burn, so it shouldn't be a big deal. The idea here of these satellites are way overpowered, by the way, for what they need to do. The main ship is going to not just get them to Eve, but it's also going to get each satellite aimed at its particular thing. And then also, ideally, this thing is going to encounter Gilly. I only want to encounter Gilly once because I'm going to try to do it from interplanetary. And encountering Gilly from interplanetary can be trying in the easiest of times, and I don't think this is probably one of the easiest of times. So let's go ahead and get this burn going. Flying over Kerbal Space Center, which is kind of nice. We got a city down there, which is also nice. Another one down here. Does look pretty with the extra enhancements, that's for sure. I think we can probably time warp a little bit. We've got some auto struts going, so I don't see any reason why not. Looks like we can even go 4 times. And let's check our sun orbit here. 3, 2, 1, 0, and cut it. Okay. And just do the last little bit and say okay. Now, let's see how we connect with Eve. It looks like we actually do have a connection with Eve, which is always nice. Let's go ahead and... It is not letting me set Eve as a target. There we go. Focus view on Eve. Yeah, we have 2 orbits, which are actually very easy to get to. And I think, yeah, this burn will be basically perfect. I might be able to fiddle it just a little bit. If we go, let's cut this down a little bit. If we go prorate just a teeny bit then that'll match it up basically with this orbit. Maybe normal. No, normal's bad. So let's just go one more prograde. There we go. And then we'll drop off the satellite that needs to go here. Then we'll burn onto this one and drop off the satellite that needs to go here. Then we'll worry about Gilly. Probably coming in like this, like burn a little bit normal down, and then try to come in here and meet Gilly on this side. But that is in a while. Let's go ahead and add a maneuver node alarm for him. Let's do it 10 whole minutes ahead of time. And it is next to come. It is 65 days away. So I guess we won't need that alarm because we are just going to hit F5 and we are going to warp to it. Okay, and we should probably also aim at it. We haven't extended any of our antennas, and we're not going to until the ships disappear. The antennas extending will clip, and we should have enough relay to talk to Kerbin just with the two the two relay antennas that aren't these extendo antennas. So that should be fine. The main ship is actually pretty good with that. But we got a 20 meter per second burn here, starting now. I say 20 meter per second. I mean 20 second. But you probably knew that. And we should keep looking at Eve here. Here comes our burn. Let's get it just touching this orbit right about there. Okay. Now, this orbit is, I named my satellites, I thought about this. This orbit is for Jeb Kerbin's junkyard and spacecraft parts. So if I hit M here and I check, I can't see it very well, but if I check vessel naming on this guy, this is Eve Resource Overlay Jeb's junkyard. So that's this ship. And if we check this ship, he's GooseAt for R&D. So this is the one for Jeb's junkyard. So we are going to decouple this, and I have set the decouplers to be worth none. And now this guy, if we check Eve again, he is set right here to do this. And I think we're going to give him a burn. Actually, maybe he can just burn right now to bring his periapsis ever closer. Or we could just live with it. I think we're just going to live with it. It's close enough. Let's add a maneuver here to slow down into Eve orbit. Fix our tilt. And can we fix our radial, or do we want to just fix it like this? I think we want to fix it like this. A little more retrograde and a little more tilty fix. And that's basically it. That'll probably get us the thing. And if not, we can then fix it later. We're going to add a maneuver node alarm. We can, the man-moho ship we want to keep. We're going to add a maneuver node alarm for this guy so we know where he is. And then we've gotten that. So now we need to move here, and we need to open a new solar panel. So let's go ahead and open yours, so that this guy keeps his electric charge going. Then he needs to get his orbit out to here. So let's just, a day away, let's just add a maneuver. It doesn't really matter where or when. But let's focus on Eve. And we want to probably speed up, I think it is. Maybe radial. Yeah, radial and speed at the same time. So radial, 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 radial. Speed, 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 speed. If you do both, it actually costs less because the because you're going diagonally. That's why I do both. And that's probably fine. He can fix his own stuff after that. And let's time warp a little bit. Let these guys wander away from each other a little bit. Then you can aim at your maneuver node now. And it's a day away, and the Moho ship is 5 days away. So let's go ahead and warp to him. This is a tiny little burn, so it's nothing to worry about. That should be fine. Yeah. Go ahead and delete it. And then now this ship we need to decouple, which is a little scary because he is within everything. But you go ahead, and I hope to God, yes, I did. Now I need to... Actually, this will be perfect. Just take this off like this. That's easier than getting the satellite out. Let's actually lock him to this anti-radial. Now you are the wrong one. You are this guy. You are going to, right here, add a maneuver to get into orbit. Change your tilt. And fix your radial by burning at a slightly different time. A little bit more retrograde, and that'll probably get that. And if not, we'll worry about it later. So let's add a maneuver node for him. Okay, 104 days, 105 days. So they're far enough apart from each other that we don't have to worry about it. And now the main ship, in another day, the Moho ship's in 3 days. So in one more day, we're going to add another maneuver. I just realized I want to open another solar panel, which is a little bit dodgy because... Oh, no, it's not. Never mind. We're just going to extend this solar panel here to keep our electric charge. Then we want this maneuver node to... Focusing view on Eve. We want to target Gilly and now somehow get this thing touching Gilly's orbit, which we're going to speed up and radial. Speed up and a radial. And then also normal. Radial. Speed up. Fix it by coming back radial. Okay, and then this is basically where we're going to be touching it. So if I slow down just a little bit, we can just kiss it right here at this ascending node. And then we're going to add a maneuver here. To come into a Gilly touching orbit, and then we'll just do something like that. Boom. 5.9 meters per second to touch Gilly, which I think is very worth it. And let's add a maneuver node for that. And there we go. We got the Eve Satellites 4 in 1 day. Oh, that's right. Never mind. We don't need to add this maneuver node alarm. Wait a minute. Did I think I just did 2 maneuver nodes. I did. That sucks because this was so good, but it's probably not going to be valid after we do this maneuver node. So let's go ahead. I jumped forward. That's the problem. Okay, let's go ahead and jump forward. It's another tiny little maneuver node. Doesn't really matter when I do it, but why not do it at the right time? Okay, there we go. Now let's see if we can recreate that magic. Burn it down into a Gilly intercepting orbit and... Show me that beautiful bean footage. Yeah, this is the kind of thing you deal with Gilly. Okay, getting a little less wonky. Yeah, now we don't even have a thing. So let's go ahead and we'll fix our tilt. We'll get an orbit, and then we'll worry about actually intersecting Gilly later. And that's 448 meters per second. We have so much. Like I said, I over-engineered this vessel. Let's go ahead and add a maneuver and alarm for this. Now this one is actually there. Okay, so the next thing to happen is the manned moho ship and then these guys. So let's go ahead and take care of this burn. We have all 4 of these, and everybody has their solar panels out. Yes. So the manned moho ship. All we got to do here is aim you guys at your maneuver node. And this is the maneuver node that... I don't even know what this maneuver node does. How funny is that? I think this is the one that gets us a really nice Kerbin encounter. Focus view on Kerbin. Yeah, this is the one that gets us right over the North Pole. Okay. So it's in 2 days. Much like the Eve ones, it doesn't really matter when we do the burn. Just so long as we do it. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get my periapsis down to 200. There we go. Now, we need, let's go just add a maneuver node here, and we're going to add an alarm. Save the moho ship, because we got 68 meters per second. Now, here's the thing. I could burn to touch the atmosphere and try to re-enter and all that stuff. I'm not going to bother. I want to do this with a rescue mission, if for no other reason than I want to do a rescue mission. And that is actually the next thing to happen by a pretty hefty margin. And I don't have the ship built to save that. So, I'm going to go build it. And in case this is a long enough episode, I'm going to bid you adieu now. Or if I don't feel like doing any more. If you enjoyed watching this, definitely like it on the YouTubes. If you want to see more, definitely subscribe to me on the YouTubes. I am Superfluous J, and I will, as always, talk at you later.